Hello everybody, this is Gabriel from Gababyte.
And this is Dakari from Dakari Rollins.
And this is Pure Revelation. Alright, me and my man Dakari over here, we are searching through the web today to find the top asked questions by young adult Christians, and we're gonna answer them real quick.
Yeah.
So, Dakari.
But the thing is, we haven't looked at them yet, so it's gonna be straight off the dome. Necessarily straight off the dome, and we're just gonna go for it, see what happens.
Right on. So without further ado, let's get started. First question.
Question number one: how do I know what God's will is? How do I know if I'm called to ministry? Ooh, that's a good question. That was a really good question. You want to answer this one, Gabe?
What do you have to say about that, Dakari Rollins?
Well, I think that really it's all on God. Praying consistently and asking Him, to kind of give you some clarity on, what He wants you to do and what He has for your life will really give you the answer to that question.
Yeah, I honestly think it's really about the consistency about the life that you live with God right now.
Yeah.
But it also has to do with just making it a point that you're listening to God and just paying attention. I don't think we ever truly find out well, this is ultimately what we're like what His will is for us, because His will is kind of like a hallway.
Yeah.
All right, this is how it's been revealed to me. It's your will's not a tightrope. I almost think that it's not just finding that one thing that's the thing. I feel like we have a little bit of breathing room with it. Whatever the area is, if you're called to preach, there are multiple different ways to preach, and God will lead you on the way, mixed with the people that you end up with and just the opportunities that you're given and the opportunities that you're not given.
Yeah,
so
I really like that.
that's how I think, but I can't say for certain that we ever truly know God's will for our life. I think it's as simple we get a pretty good idea and we just keep going.
Yeah.
And then how do I know if I'm called to ministry? You won't be able to run away.
That's a fact. That is definitely a fact. I know for me, when I got the call for it, every time I thought that I was too far away to come back, or just too far away to come back from God, come back to God, every single time I got brought right back to where I was, and that's all God. He's reckless. He pursues us. His love is reckless, and it pursues us, and it just constantly is coming after us, and that's what it really is. That's what
He does. He's a good shepherd.
I heard that once you look at the cross, once you really understand and know what Jesus did and know that He died for us, that you'll never be able to look away from it. No matter how far you're treading backwards, you're still going to be looking at it no matter what, and you'll always come back to it. So, yeah. Question number 2. All right, question number 2. What's wrong with rock, country, jazz, and rap music? How can we tell what music is good and what music is bad? Can I answer this? Is that all right?
Go for it. You're my guest.
I really think that not all music's bad, obviously. There are some preferences that people have to what they like to listen to, and really music is based off emotion if you think about it, just the way, people put their words into songs, and then people listen to those songs and they react a certain way. With worship music, it's all about Jesus, it's all about God, it's all about what He's done for us and the Holy Spirit. Yeah, it's all about, the sense of feeling joy and relief, knowing that God is here for you every day. That's the feeling you get from worship music, and that's why it's so good for you, to be able to lift up God's name every time you're listening to it and singing it. But other genres, to say the same, there's Christian rap music, and I really love Christian rap music, people like Andy Mineo, Lecrae,
love both of them.
Yeah,
actually.
Triple E, 1K Few.
Don't know those two.
John Keith, people like that. It's all good. They're trying to advance the kingdom and show people the love of God through rap, and that's not bad at all. Just because it's rap doesn't mean it has to be bad. There is a lot of rap music though that has bad content to it, talking about money, cars, women, sex, stuff like that shouldn't be a main focus in music, because the words they say in that people repeat, and they're constantly repeating. There's a lot of music now too that's also talking about really depressing things like I wish I was dead, I'm gonna take all these pills, stuff like that. And that's not good for you to listen to either, because it's feeding your brain, you know, negative thinking. And with you saying that, it says in Proverbs that the tongue has the power of life and death. And every word that you say, you know, if you really believe it, and if
it comes to life.
Yeah, it comes to life. And that's,
or it kills you.
Yeah, or it kills you, or that.
Or that.
I mean, and some truth with that too. Like when Jesus went to Lazarus, when he knew he was dead, he told him to get up. You know, he was like, get up, and he did. And that's the power that the tongue has. Not just because he was Jesus, but God says that we also have that power in us. The power to raise the dead, the power to move mountains, the power to split seas, you know. And I just really think that, you know, not all music is bad. It's just the content. Like, what's the content of the music? What are the lyrics really saying?
Right.
You know, what are you feeding yourself?
True.
So.
I think it depends, you know, because he's right. You know, the Bible is very specific that, like, you don't speak, like, there is no middle ground between life or death. It's either life or death. Now, I don't say that to say that, like, all secular music is wrong either, but it is important to know how the message is being conveyed. And more so, not even just that, but how it's affecting you. And that's not to say, like, that we can give ourselves the permission, like, okay, well, I'm just not gonna let this song, you know, affect me. I think there's another verse in the Bible that talks about how, like, when God speaks to us, it's like a seed, and we can choose to let that grow in us or not. But I feel like because we're made in the image of God, that when we speak, we also speak seeds. And that if we take that and we let that grow in our heart, which most of us do, greed is being brought out, lust is being brought out, and, you know, pride is a huge one, is being grown out. But I think it takes some discernment too, because honestly, God convicts us all a little differently, you know?
Yeah.
And that depends on where you are in your life, you know, and, you know, that's something that you want to pray to God about. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I listened to a little bit of Drake, you know.
Yeah. We all do.
God's plan, okay? Yeah, you know, Kendrick Lamar, Prayer. He has a song named Prayer?
I think so. Yeah, he does.
Okay.
If not, I'm sorry.
Kendrick's a Christian, but that don't mean he's... Like, he raps.
I mean,
like,
the same thing, like I understand what you're saying. You're saying that,
But, like, I can listen, I'm pretty sure I'm good to listen to, like, Hello.
Yeah.
You know, like, that's not killing my vibe. I think that the enemy can use this as a trap to lead us to legalism, because I don't think music's bad. Not all music. But you have to be careful with the way that it affects you personally, and you have to be honest about that and willing to say, no, this is messing with me. It's making me think thoughts that I don't want to think, you know? I think in particular, I used to listen to, like, really angry music, you know, and that was rap music, that was, you know, rock music, and, you know, I liked it because the emotions that it conveyed to me were anger. And that was the way that I really knew how, or it made me kind of express my feelings in a way that weren't always healthy. Yeah. You know, I'm not saying don't listen to What I've Done by Linkin Park or Bleed It Out every now and then.
Oh, man.
You know,
yeah.
You know, I know everybody has their opinions on Linkin Park. I love them. I don't care what you have to say. But, you know, I think it really depends, you know, and that's, again, not to say, like, hey, guess what? Cut out secular music because it's evil. Because it's not always, you know. And we're in a generation where now there are more Christians that are coming up into culture, you know, Lecrae, Andy Mineo, Tori Kelly, that are, you know, they have God's word in their heart and they have their spirit and they are going into a secular culture, but they still carry Christ with them, and that bleeds into their music, you know. I don't know if anybody knows this, but the lead singer of Korn is actually, like, an evangelist.
I think I heard that somewhere. I can't remember where it was from, but
he's a straight up Christian, and if I have his story correct, he actually tried getting away from his band because of his faith, but God called him back into his band and said, hey, no, I need you there because you're gonna reach people through your music that we could never reach from a church. So again, it highly depends, you know?
Yeah.
So with that, that's what I think.
That was good.
Thanks.
Good.
Thank you. Thank good. My guy.
We gotta do the picture. You know, have you ever seen the picture? The one where the people are like this. Your arm is like 4 times bigger than mine, but it's alright. Do this so it looks even.
I love it. All right.
This one's a long one. This is a long question.
Third question, long question.
All right, numero tres. Number 3.
Tres minutos.
Trace.
No break. We've got 3 minutes because all of this has been going by
3
so
minutes.
fast.
6 minutes on shit your own. All right. Question number 3. What do you do if you have parents or siblings who are living the wrong way? One way in church, another way at home, dad on the internet. How do you avoid wrong influences when you live with them?
Dad on, that's what they mean by dad on the internet.
Yeah.
I think I can.
I'm gonna start that one.
I'll start this one.
Go ahead.
I'll start this one.
Lead it off, Gabe.
Come on.
Come on now.
Reading it again. Oh my gosh. Honestly, like, it can highly depend, because if you're a Christian young adult, there's a great chance that you're still living with your family, that or just around them. You know, they're, you know, consistently in your life. And, you know, I get that that can be tough sometimes. You know, I can't say I've ever lived in a household where people didn't have mutual faith of me, as me, but I think that I've definitely had those moments where maybe God was giving me a little bit more hope. So maybe I can kind of relate a little bit, or, you know, find a place to relate. But honestly, it's God knows your heart, you know?
Yeah.
I'm not saying that's an excuse to not do what he calls you to do, if he does call you to do, but I want you to know this. It may be your responsibility to love people, but it is not your responsibility to what happens to them. Yeah. Okay? It's easy to think that just because they're family that like, oh my gosh, I need to get my family to church, and if I don't get my family to church, I'm a failure, you know? Or if I can't, like God, how do I get them to accept you and everything? And I think that that is not a healthy mindset, you know? And you know, the whole thing about like, you know, dad being on the internet, or they, you know, have their own opinions, or they do have those wrong influences. Be the right influence in their life. You know, I think the simple thing that we can do is, God called us to be outcasts. Jesus was an outcast in his culture, and not just in, you know, the secular world, but like with the religious world too.
Yeah.
Because for some of you, you guys are living in a house where you have Christians, but they live in a legalistic mindset and don't actually know like the love of Christ. And you kind of have to stand out because God's put something real in you, and something fake has been going on in them. And, you know, God calls you to kind of stand out in that way. And that doesn't mean that you need to make an enemy of the household or anything of that matter, but just love them like they don't deserve it, because you know what? Nobody does. Nobody deserved the love of Jesus, but he loved us anyway. And I think that you show that kind of honor to your family by doing just that, and that's loving them in a way that they don't deserve, you know?
Yeah.
Even if they're horrible to you, or if they disagree with you openly, or maybe your relationships are just fine, but it's just hard for you to live with that. I would just, again, encourage you, just be the Christ to them that they don't have, because who else is going to?
Yeah, being the light in your household is huge. And if you ever feel like that weight, because there is a weight that comes with that. It's an unnecessary weight that you don't need to carry. It's a weight that's meant for Jesus to carry. The weight of your household, like you said, like being the light in your household is important, but you don't have to carry all that weight. Just, I would say, if you ever felt like that weight was too much for you, if you ever felt like you're in that spot, just pray to God about it. Pray to God to, you know, give you clarity, but to also let you be the light in that house without the weight, because the weight he carries, you know, he died for that weight. He died for sin. He died for, you know, the troubles of this world, so that we could live free of that, and so that we could go to heaven, so we could be with God and have that intimacy with God that we wouldn't have had before. So yeah.
Hashtag be a light. I don't know how to edit that in there, but just imagine that there was one. Be the light.
I've been wondering how to do it. You know the little tags where people put like the little boxes that pop up, like, look at this, and it pops up. I'm like, how'd you do that?
Yeah, I'm learning a lot as I'm doing this, but this is my second video, so alright.
Alright, sweet. Ooh, I want to answer this one.
Oh,
right
shoot.
here.
Why don't you say it out loud?
Alright. Number 4, question number 4. How do you take a stand with your friends? And what do you do when you have a friend that is becoming rebellious?
So by rebellious, like what kind of rebellious do you think?
I think what I'm kind of getting from this, like what I'm sensing from this, like how do you take a stand with your friends? Like they might be going down a path that they know is not right for them, but they still do it anyway, kind of thing. And something I'm kind of,
right, that kind of rebellious. They're rebelling against, good things, and because that's what we do, because, things are great. And we're like, ooh, let's mess it up. Anyway.
I think I can speak to this a little bit. I was that kid that was rebellious, and I went against the wrong ways of thinking and the wrong ways of living for a long time. Like, my parents would tell me that these things aren't right, these things you're not supposed to be doing, from drugs to other addictions. Like, it was something that I kept rebelling with, because I felt like I could do what I want. Like, I don't have to listen to anyone. I'm a free soul. I can, this is America's free country. I can do what I want, kind of thing. America. But at the same time, growing up, like, I realized that my mistakes were, wasn't a good way to live. It wasn't a good way to, do drugs. It wasn't a good thing to party every night. It wasn't a good thing to, do the things I was doing. And I started to realize that really when I saw my friends, start to step out and do the things I was doing. And I realized that I hung out with them a lot during the times that I was, doing drugs, getting drunk, doing stuff like that. And they saw that, and I was an influence to them, like, doing what they're doing now. And me realizing that was like, oh crap, like, instead of me doing these things or being rebellious, like, I could have been, studying the word. I could have been, helping out the community, and could have been a better influence on them, because that's what you want to be. You want to be a good influence to your friends. And it's not something like, I'm not going to necessarily say it's my fault for them choosing that path, because we all make our own choices.
Yeah, no, it's not your fault for anybody making their own choice.
No. If you told them it was wrong, if they know it's wrong, because we morally know that certain things are not right to do, but we still do them anyway, then you can't blame yourself for that. And like, I'm not going to blame myself for that, because I know that, yes, I was an influence, or might have been an influence to what they've done, because they've seen me do it, they watched me do it. It doesn't mean that it's your fault or even my fault. And like it says that
forgive yourself a little bit.
Yeah. Like, what you can do is just really being a good influence. Getting the Bible, pray for them, pray for their situation, pray that God brings them out of whatever they're dealing with. Yeah. So, do you have anything to say on this?
Of course I do. I always have something to say.
This guy.
It's like he doesn't know me. All I do is talk.
I know you my whole life. I should know this by now.
Oh my goodness. So I was actually kind of blessed growing up that I've always been in a church of some sort, even when it wasn't like a really good church. Either way, I kind of always had that kind of anchor, if you will. And especially when we started going to the church that we both go to, I mean, it's a life-giving church like no other. So I kind of always had that. So I had something to kind of hold me down with, and that helped me with my friends back at school that didn't have that, because even though I was surrounded by a whole bunch of secular people when I went to school, not that there's anything wrong with being secular, just people that don't know Jesus, if you will.
Yeah.
I had this, I had something to kind of hold on to while I did the things I did over here. So I mean, I think at the end of the day, it's just kind of being what Jesus was for people. I mean, what people don't understand about society today is that we live in a society that's very much like we needed to be completely approved in order to be accepted, where that's not the case. I can accept who you are, but not approve of what you're doing.
That's good.
And I think it's important to walk that out when you're trying to take a stand with some people, because you want to help them out, you want to love them, you want to be that Jesus to them, just like your family. You got to be like Jesus to the people that don't know him, because you're the only one that could be showing them who he actually is. And hopefully one day they're going to ask where that love comes from. But especially when they're struggling with stuff, I mean, you can be that rock for them. And if you just hold fast to that, I mean, you could be the one that just helps kind of guide them down the right path. Of course, with discernment and praying and all that. But it's important to be life-giving. And you can't be life-giving unless you're being given life, or life, or both. But really, I think it's almost like when you have a situation like that takes prayer. That takes prayer, that takes time with the Lord, that takes, making sure that he's giving you what you need. Kitty cats. The kitty cats are coming out. But you got to make sure that you have something for them. And you know, that's not to say that you can't just love them, you know, or to say that you're gonna be the answer for them.
Yeah.
But you can be part of the solution by doing that. So I think how you do that is really just, you know, staying connected so you can connect them back. But you also, and this is kind of off the question, but I think it's still very important, is that you got to make sure that they don't drag you down. Because I feel like everybody's a rock in a sense, and it doesn't matter that you're a rock or not a rock, but it matters where you're planted. And some people are a rock on a mountaintop, you know, like those that, you know who Jesus is, and you'll be placed in the, you know, the most high place. So, you know, you find people that really know the Lord and are living that secure life, and they're going to help bring you up. But then you've got very insecure people that live on very unsustainable ground, such as the rebellious type.
Yeah.
And it's basically like chaining a rock to your foot in the ocean and expecting to swim with it. So you got to learn that balance, and you got to make sure that where you're there for people, you don't find yourself getting dragged into it too. So that comes into a place where, you know, you got to make sure that your heart's still with the church, and that you don't compromise any of your beliefs to try to save somebody, you know, because I think it even shows the babies. I love those kids. I love them. They get me. But it shows them that you're even more secure of a friend to depend on when you're able to say no, and that you're not going to stand for certain things that they do. And when you can be that friend for them, even if you kind of got to put your foot down in a sense, for some things, they're going to respect you for that. You know, I believe that. And if they don't, then unfortunately, you know, like it says in Romans 1, they might just need to be left to their sins for a little bit so they can reap what they sow. And just like the prodigal son, you know, if they find themselves coming back, God's going to open up with his arm, or he's going to open his arms up to them, celebrate that. And I feel like as Christians, we get to be that too. But I hope there's something there for you.
Yeah, that's good. That's all the questions we're doing for today. This is part one.
Uno
Part of a two-parter for 15 questions, 15 of the most challenging questions that Christians deal with.
We wanted to do this because we realized how long it was getting, and we wanted you guys to have a chance to live your life.
Yes, for sure. For sure.
Oh, goodness. So, I'm sorry. Do you want to say it? I'll say it. Why not? We want to thank you very much for checking out this video. We hope that you check out the second part of the video, which we are also looking forward to making. Just, if you liked the video, leave a like down. Like, don't be a bum. Like
comment,
it.
Subscribe to my channel as well, which will also be down there, hopefully.
We're gonna work it out. we're gonna work it out. Still learning how to use everything, okay? So just mind me, you know?
Yeah.
No, but we wanna thank you guys so much for checking us out. We love you, we want the best for you, and we hope to see you next time.
Peace out.
Deuces. All right, guys, now before you go, I just have to say, Dakari, 1, loved having you on the show, and 2, in case you don't know, he just dropped his very first EP yesterday, and it is phenomenal. He's done such a wonderful job. It's a Christian rap album. If you don't know it, it's called Different. You have to check it out. It's on Spotify, Apple Play, Google Play, whatever, all those things, Amazon Music. It's on YouTube, SoundCloud. Just you have to go, you have to check it out. It's great. Again, love having Dakari here, and I can't wait to see him here on my videos again. Thank you all for joining. Thank you for watching it again. Hope to see you soon. Now, if you want to stay a little longer, got one last clip. I hope you enjoy. You guys have a good day. Boom, 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 boom. Doom, doom. Special guest, my stepfather.
What's up?
What's up?
Yeah, man.
Good, how are you?
I'm doing alright.
That's awesome.
Love you, Dad. Yeah. I always wanted a dad. And a brother.
You look shorter than me just now. You were like, dude, me and my little bro gave Palmer. He has more of a beard than me, but that's because I gave him all my beard. I took the little peach fuzz he had.
Everything about me went through puberty except my voice.
Everything about me didn't go through puberty except for my voice.